Hello, beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO Podcast. I'm Kenz, your host, and I wanted to add on to this interview that you're going to listen to today, and I highly encourage you to listen to the whole thing. This is a really special interview with a really special person that I've recently had the opportunity to meet, to connect with. We connected right away, and she has such a unique story that is going to impact you. I sat down with Aura Hosu and I met her in Oradea, Romania. Cǎminul Felix is an orphanage for vulnerable and abandoned children, and they're brought in to live with parents that are also raising their own biological children. And they come into these homes, up to 10 kids at a time. And at Cǎminul Felix, they have 12 homes currently filled with a total of 120 children. Cǎminul Felix started about when I was born, so back in May of 1992, and they have impacted hundreds and hundreds of children over the course of the last 3+ decades. And what's so beautiful in this conversation with my dear friend now, Aura, is she not only shares what it's like to be a parent in that home and raising her own children and the stories of the other children that have found themselves at Cǎminul Felix, but her husband was also raised there as an orphan himself. And it's so beautiful because he's now a husband and a father and raising up the next generation that is walking the path, unfortunately, that he also walked. But him and his wife are living such a beautiful example of what it means to have a healthy home, a healthy family, and to be healthy people stewarding the next generation. So I also have to add that this is extra special to me because this is why, a huge reason why I started this podcast, was to interview people like Aura and share her story around the world to let you know that no matter where you are a world changer. So listen in. Aura, I'm so excited to have you here and to hear your story and to share it with everybody. So thank you. Very last minute for taking the time.
I thank you for letting me be part of this.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. This is why this started, just so you know, for people like you. So we're going to dive in today just to hear your story and how you got where you are at Cǎminul Felix and how you met your husband and just that story, whatever you want to share there, sure. And what you are doing here and what this whole cause and mission and everything is about. So we'll talk about that. But can you just start about, where you're from and what growing up was like here in Romania?
Sure. So I'm from Romania, Oradea especially, and I come from a family with 9 girls and 3 boys. My older brother is adopted, and that's special for me, and he is special for me. I'm the youngest child. Yeah, and I think we were pretty poor as a family, but we didn't see that because we were children, we were happy, we were so many in the house. So growing up was a joy. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And are a lot of your siblings still in the area, or?
I'm the only one in Romania.
You're the only one in Romania?
Yeah. All my brothers and sisters, they are in Europe because at 18 years old, we wanted to have something of our own, and everybody just went in Europe, and they're hardworking people where they are, and yeah, I'm right now the only one, but most of them, they want to come back home, so I'm waiting for them.
Good, I love that. It's interesting, when I was in Iași, I was at a conference with some other Romanians, and a lot of them said that a lot of Romanians left and now we're starting to come back. Have you seen any cultural shifts that have invited them back, or is it more familial and just coming back home? What would you say is the desire?
From my point of view, if you have children, and most of them, they have children, they want their children to grow up where they grew up, Maybe that's also an idea. The culture is so different, and I think they miss home. And when you have children, you want them to grow up to be part of their family, or just to grow up with your cousins. And the family is so important when you grow up. Yeah, because abroad, it's awesome, great opportunities, but then where's your family? If you have nobody there, it's very hard. And I think that's why most of them, they want to come back home.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So how many nieces and nephews do you have?
Well, for now, we are only 25, but it's growing.
Okay, is that small for
Romania? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Just 25.
Yes.
We're just there. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right, America. Listen up. Let's get on that. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, can you share more? We had coffee this morning, and I remember you sharing with me, like growing up, just certain things that you were into that always were on your heart. Would you mind sharing some of that?
Sure. So we were a lot of siblings, in the house, but my mother was always, her heart was always open.
Mm.
And she loved children. That's why we were so many.
I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she would always invite our friends, or if she would see girls or boys that need shelter, or they need love, or they need affection around us, she would be like very open to that. And my sisters, we would always see that she loves the ones that nobody loves. So we were taught in that way. Even in school, all of my brothers and sisters, we would fight for the ones that can fight. And we will be there for them. And we would always have friends that were in foster or they were in orphanage. And we will always tell them that they are more than welcome with us and come with us. And my mother would say, well, we have so many at the table, 1+1, there's, you can feel that. So it's okay. You can just bring anybody inside. So we grew up with that idea that everybody is welcome. And maybe most of the time, the ones that don't have anybody. So that was the way we were taught at home. Yeah.
No, I love that culture. I feel like, there's certain cultures around the world that have that. Like familial, everyone's welcome, come in, and there's some that don't. Yeah. And I just think it's so beautiful.
You don't need, I think, you don't need to be rich, like have money to welcome people around you. You just have to be rich in your heart. So.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. That's so good. Wow. So, okay, so then growing up and then you got to high school.
Yeah.
And what happened in that part of your your journey?
So, I was in 10th grade in high school and I met John. We were best friends. Now John is my husband. So, we met in high school. We were great friends. We used to make, actually, that's our thing. I was a funny person and I liked jokes with blonde girls. So yeah, he will laugh at them. I will love to just go in the internet and search for more jokes. We love auto irony. Just make fun of everything. Don't take it seriously. Exactly. We met. We were best friends, and then he graduated. I graduated after 2 years. The difference between is 2 years, and we met in Oradea in a mall. And he was like, "Hey, would you like to come and, I don't know, see a movie or something?" And I was like, well, for the good times, the sake of the good times, let's do that. We had a blast in high school, let's do that. So he invited me at a movie and then we started to see each other just like, again, friends. He had some feelings and he was very fast forward, like, okay, I start to like you. What do you say? I was like, oh, okay, give me some time. I'm not ready for that. Exactly. Long story short, I started to like him too, take it to the next level. Like, okay, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend then. For us, it was very important that the significant other, the one that you would marry, to be serious in this. We were saying, okay, let's date, but dating time would lead to marriage because we don't have too much time to lose. Okay, we married only when I was 20 and he was 22, but still it was serious for us. It wasn't like, okay, let's, just lose our time. So we were both serious, and it's so interesting. We come from different environment, different, families, and the way we grew up is so different, but still I can see that we had a lot of ideas and principles, and I don't know, the things that led us, they were common, and that's interesting. We were so different, but still we thought our thinking was similar. That's interesting for me.
Yeah.
Even this day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And whatever you feel comfortable sharing about, say, John's upbringing.
Yeah, sure.
And some of the...
Yeah, when we met in high school, I didn't know his family or anything about him. And I only knew after when we met again, as friend and going out for that movie, he started to tell me that he's coming, he grew up in Cǎminul Felix. Him and his sister, he was 3 and his sister was 1. The first time he was in an orphanage. And after that, he remembers actually one of the social workers from Cǎminul Felix going in that orphanage and handing them some candies. And he remembers that they were red. And that's so interesting because I don't have memories from when I was 3 years old, but it was, I think, so strong for him that he remembers that. And the social worker from Cǎminul Felix would just say, okay, I want those 2 kids to bring them, to Cǎminul Felix. And that was the day that everything changed for him. And I'm so blessed and so happy because it could have been anybody else, but they had a chance. Yeah. And I'm so blessed. They came to Cǎminul Felix. They had here a big family, and actually is what I do now. And me and John, we are doing this now. I'll just make it's similar so everybody can understand. There is a house with parents, and they would have 10 children. That's the maximum that you would have in foster. And every family comes with their biological, depends how many. So that's the family where he grew up in. The parents had biological 2 daughters, and then other, I think like in that time, there were even like 16 in the family. Now the maximum is like 10, but there were family where there were like 16 when Cǎminul Felix started, yeah. And even 18, I think some families, yeah.
Yeah, I think Mihai mentioned that earlier.
Yes, possible.
Yeah, another family. Yeah. Who's been here since the beginning.
Yes.
30, almost 34 years.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Razvan told me that in May 1992, this started, right? I was born in June 1992.
Nice.
I was like, all right, we're about to have a birthday. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
We have to celebrate this together.
Yep. I'm just here now. Gosh, no. This is way more impactful. That's so cool. But wow, that's incredible. And then you guys got married. And
yeah, we got married. He actually moved at 19 years old. And Cǎminul Felix, gave the children so many opportunities. And one of them is Habitat for Humanitas. And they built houses for the teenagers that they will get out of Cǎminul Felix and the ones that are working and, they want something more in life and they're responsible. I believe that's how it works. If you want more, you work.
Yeah.
So he was very hardworking. That's what I loved about him. He would do like anything. He would work always. And I trusted him in that a lot. So he had that house. It's like a small one, but for a person, it was wow, an extraordinary situation for him. So he moved there. We were together. He was 22 when we got married. I was 20, and I moved in. And then after 2 years, we had our daughter Sarai. And we had Naum after 2 years. And when Sarai was 2 and my son Naum was 6 months, we just brought this idea in front of God, like, God, if you want us in Cǎminul Felix as parents, just speak to our hearts. We didn't tell anybody about it because we knew that God will speak to our heart if He wants if He wants us there. And our biggest concern was like, okay, would we do good? As parents for foster children. And a thought came to our mind, and it was like, where God guides, He provides. And if we will be accepted as parents, it's because God wanted that. And John, growing up, he was like very active and energetic boy and did a lot of, troubles, troublemaker when he was young. And we went to the interview and everybody knew him in the interview, and he was like, they asked me about myself because they knew John, It was funny.
We know him.
Yeah.
He left a mark here.
So, but yeah, he was just energetic. He didn't do like really bad stuff. He was like, I think he liked to express himself, through, I don't know, just being rebellious, in some parts, in a funny way, know. But yeah, I can say that he's so mature right now. And having children, he told me that the first time when he realized he was a real father now and how important that is for him is when I came home with our daughter from the maternity. And he took our daughter Sarah in his arms. I remember that moment. And he looked at her and asked me, Aura, how can somebody leave somebody like her and never look back? Like, how is that possible? Look at her. She needs us. she won't survive without us. I mean, we will be there for our daughter, like with everything, you know? So that was the moment that he was like, wow, how is that possible? Leaving somebody and never looking back, you know, or what is my baby doing, or how is it? Is he fed? Is he, you know, changed the diapers and everything? So that was, I think, a moment when he was like more matured after those experiences, you know.
Wow. I mean, it's just I've had spent a bit of time with you now, which is so fun, and meeting him for lunch the other day, and great, amazing energy. Definitely a lot of energy. I love it. But I have and just in my short interaction with him, so much respect for, coming from just where he came from.
Yeah.
And to now have a beautiful family of, biological 3 children, a beautiful wife, amazing wife, and to also be in a home of serving all these other kids and being the father that so many don't have and that he didn't have. I mean, at least from, he did have here.
Yeah, the first years.
Yeah, the first years.
It impacts you. So even if you have after, but those years were important.
So I'm curious, and you've shared a little bit on this, but how have you seen him coming back here now, being a father figure with other kids? What has that been like?
Good question. Working with children and doing what God has called you to do and being in your calling, I think it's awesome for everybody else, and everybody else is blessed, and it will change them, but first it changes you. So I've noticed coming to Cǎminul Felix, it helped, and it's still helping John heal. Yeah. I've seen that, and whatever he wanted to receive as a child, he can heal. I mean, I know God is healing him by being able to repair something, by being in the same place, in the same foundation, in the same, things around him. I think it's a blessing for us also being here. I know we are a blessing, just in a very humble way, but we are blessed being here. And I'm blessed because I love him and I'm his wife, and I want everything that is best for him. And I know he can heal. Here is the best place where he can heal, and coming back is the place where he would be better and better with himself, And my point in the beginning, and that's how I started, is I knew the gaps that he had, and having the children in my house, I would love them the way I wanted John to be loved, So I think it's a blessing for us being here.
Wow.
That's why we appreciate this calling so much.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's a calling. Yeah, and 5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
Yeah, that's incredible. And to navigate that as a mother of 3 biological children and a mother of 8 others, 11, yes, of 8 others. Yeah. That is remarkable. And I would love to have you share like our experience earlier today where you took me. And whatever you feel comfortable sharing of just some of the stories, just so people that are trying to understand what is it, how does someone end up in an orphanage, right? Like what are some of the stories of kids that come here, and what do they face? What are some of the challenges? And I know every story is different, and yet there are some parallels, right? In many of them, but just again, so people can understand where they may come from and what that looks like.
Sure. Well, since I was a teenager, I did volunteer in Roma communities, and we used to take Roma children in Christian camps, and they loved it. The first thing that we used to do is have some shampoos that will take the lice out, because they had a lot of lice and they were dirty. And this is the first thing we did. And it was in a fun way, for the little children to go and show them how they can wash. They never seen shower or anything like that, or most of them, they didn't see a toilet, and didn't know how to use it. So the cabin that was there, and we went, and had the time there, it had all those facilities, and they would enjoy everything that they see there. It was fun. And that's how I started volunteering there. I was involved, but I felt blessed to be there. And it was something inside of me that was like, I'll never leave this, and I will forever need to be doing this, And after that, I went also in an after school program with them, and we did that with an organization from Oradea. And I went in their homes because they would not come to school. And I didn't know what is happening. And I was like, okay, I need to see why they're not coming at school. Maybe they have a problem. Maybe there's something wrong. And I cared for them so much. And I was like, I need to go there. So I went in the community, and most of them, the parents would not think that the school is important. Other parents will not be home, and nobody would prepare anything for them or dress them, or, they would not have sandwiches or anything in school. That was like, nobody had that. When I prepare my kids to school, it's like very cool, meal for them, a snack, and then water. And I have to see everything that is there, and the kid will enjoy that in school. But I knew that the Roma kids, they never had that. So there were so many issues that why they didn't go to school. And I would go and wake them up and dress them, and like, okay, let's, do whatever we need to do. So you'll come to school, and we will start late, but it's okay because everybody was late. So it's like, it's okay. But yes, the parents were absent most of the time. They were not there. They would have gambling issues or alcohol issues. They used to drink a lot, or they would use money for other different things, not for the children. So that was pretty sad. The way that kids from Cǎminul Felix, most of them, they come here, not all of them, but maybe the majority, is that they would face in their biological families abuse, or they will be very poor. You've seen the houses. They would have ground on the floor. They would not have a rooftop, or they would not have heat. That's also very bad. And in the winters, usually the kids are all sick there. We used to bring them medicine, and all that they needed they were like very bad. They had very bad, cough and everything. So that was a serious problem. And that's also a reason why they would not send them to school. So for me, education is so important. It helps them develop, help them understand that they can, do better, So I think a lot of problems come from there because they don't go to school. But I understand why. And it's not the children's fault, And I can't blame the parents, but they should be responsible for that, sending them to school,
Yeah.
But they're not there. So yeah.
Yeah. It blew my mind seeing where you took me today.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how was the experience for you?
Well, it's interesting because I've been to very poor places in different parts of the world, and it's impacted me tremendously. And I think, but I've never, of the orphanages, I have to count, I haven't been to like that many, but like enough that I think this was more of a story for me, in the sense of you sharing specific children and their journeys and where they come from or where they may go back to. And so seeing that, and then seeing here, and the contrast in one child's life that could happen, I think that hit me deeper than I think I still sense some level of disconnect to a degree that I didn't realize was there in other places that I've been. And so, that just brought it more full circle of like, if like this is where that child would be or came from to some degree. And it is drastically different. And I mean, I'll say this about Cǎminul Felix. I feel like, I've been so attended to, and Simona, all of you earlier today, I'm out with, touring everything, and you're like, I have chicken and rice for you. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not there. Like, just so kind and thoughtful and considerate, just the love. And so more than you asked for in my answer, but I'm still absorbing it. I'm still soaking it in. It's just, I have so much admiration for the hard work that all of you have put in for these kids to have, I think we talked about this in the car, like, it's okay that I say like more of a normal life. Yes. Mihai said this earlier too, that stuck with me, is like when, these kids now are in a family, and he mentioned that this is an example for Romania. Like, because they were all in one big building, and now being in homes, having a mom, having a dad. And he's like, and then they have their bed, and they have their cup, and they have their clothes. And now when they're at school, it's like, oh, I need to ask my mom for permission for this. And it's like, oh, I'm now, instead of here and here, oh, I need to ask my mom as well. Just those things that, again, even with past experience, more dots are connecting, and it just is more real, right? So anyways, I've blown away.
I'm happy you mentioned that, because that's where I wanted to go. So I worked as a teenager there with Gypsy community, and I always tried to, not to change their life, but to impact their life. And I did the best I could. I would I didn't see maybe what I wanted, but I know there were things that helped them, because some of them now they are like, they have families and so on, and they still call me and I keep in touch with them, and they will tell me, hey, Aura, you remember when you took us to that church, or when we did this activity and it was so important, that moment for me. And those are the moments that I cherish the most, them calling me, and just we keep in touch on the internet, and these are the children that they were in my after school, and they are from the village that we visited today. So being there for them, it was important, but they went back home, and that's their culture. And I will always say this, when the child protection, they come and in their life, because most of the time the neighbors would call the child protection because the parents are not there, the children are abused, physically abused or sexually abused, or they will be, I don't know, all kind of difficult situation, and they will call child protection. They will come and investigate, and they will take the children and bring them to the child protection, service. And from there, they would call us and say, hey, we have, our case, 6 siblings. Would you want them? Do you have the possibility to take them in? And we took them in, and we were so happy to have so many, in our family, and it was a blast that there were siblings. It's so important in my point of view, not to have them split, and the capacity that Cǎminul Felix has, I think it's awesome. The maximum is 10, so 6 siblings. Wow.
You're half full.
Exactly.
Half occupancy. Yeah.
Exactly. So now with these 6 children, I would always think of, when I came to Cǎminul Felix, it was hard leaving for a period of time my children from the gypsy community. But when I came back here, it was like God telling me, hey, Aura, those are also children from that village. They could be, So it's just other children, but you can do the same with them. And from my point of view, even better, because now you can give them, not me, but sure, through Cǎminul Felix, you can give them a home. You can give them parents. I wasn't able, and it's normal, I wasn't a parent for them in the Roma community. I was just a teacher, or I was just a person, that was their mentor, or, somebody that was there for them. But here and now in Cǎminul Felix, I was even, again, blessed because I was able to be a parent for them, a mother, and giving them education, and taking them to school, taking them to church, taking them to all kind of activities like drums, learning how to do drums, and then piano lessons, and then English lessons. I was like, wow, that's what fulfilled my heart, So I was happy about it. Now, what I'm trying to do with my kids is they appreciate, and we try to help them be even more thankful for everything that they have, because I need to learn that, and I have to do that every day, to be thankful for everything that I have. So what I did is I took my children from Cǎminul Felix to visit, and not only to visit, but to be involved in the Roma community. Last Christmas we went there, and we were singing carols, and we gave them like gifts to some of the children there in the Roma community, and they could feel so close, because that's where some of my children, that's where they grew up. A similar environment, and they could see the difference, and they were thankful, and they were very, happy for everything that they have, because we teach them that we receive, but we also have to give. And blessed are the ones that give, You feel better when you give. Yes, it's nice to receive, but it's such a fulfilled feeling when you give. And that's what I want them. I want to teach them, just to give, because they have Cǎminul Felix, and they have so many opportunities, and they will forever have us. And it's so important to learn that thing, that, just give.
Yeah, that is so beautiful.
Yeah. People around will say, what do you have there? They struggle with bullying in school. And because John was raised in Cǎminul Felix, he was a tough guy in high school and in school also. He would teach them and asking them, hey, what are your colleagues or friends, or, friends, from school, people from school, and what are they telling you? And they were like, well, they tell me that I don't have a mother and a father, that I'm an orphan. And John was like, do you have a mother and a father? And he was like, yeah, okay, so, check. You have that. It's not true. And if it's not true, why would it bother you? It's like, I will tell you, you have, like your blue hair, it's ugly, you wouldn't care because you don't have blue hair, you know? So
Yeah.
it's the same idea. And then we don't have food. And he was like, just go in the kitchen and see how much food we have and how blessed we are. And we have everything we need. You have snack. I mean, I will tell you just a little bit our program.
Yeah.
In the morning, we'll have like during school, we have breakfast. Everybody's at a table, 11 children at the table. We eat, we have very healthy food and good food and always fresh. And then they would have a snack at 11 o'clock, you know, in school and so on. And then at 1 o'clock, we have lunch, snack again at 5 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock is dinner and then preparing for, you know, going to sleep. I didn't have that when I was home with my siblings, you know. And having a schedule, I think it's so good for the child, you know. So we teach them to fight in a healthy way when they're in school. They are not what people are telling them. They are what we tell them, you know. So
good. Well, from what I can tell is that identity and that rootedness in security, like the basic needs of just food, clothing, shelter, and then love and connection, belonging, you're providing that for them. And I feel like so much likely their parents didn't have that. And so how can they give to their children what they didn't have? And I'm making a big statement, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if it's to be able to be given that and the mindfulness around it, I think it's just, it can't be overstated. And no, I feel that here. You know, and I've only been here a couple days, so I could imagine what it's like, right? And so I'm curious, and share whatever you want to share. And you've talked about like the 6 kids as an example. Are there any other stories, and not like naming names, you know, but just that for someone that's listening, that's like, okay, if a child doesn't come here, or maybe some that have where they came from, but some of the things that they're up against in culture, right? And avenues that they may go down. And like, for example, I know like young pregnancies and just different life choices that can happen if they're not in an environment like that. Like, what are some of the things that you've seen?
As I said, most of the children, they come from the Roma community. We have children that are not coming from there, but I'll speak again about the majority. And at least our situation was with these 6 siblings. The oldest sister, I mean, the youngest boy was 2. And the oldest sister was 14, and she was pregnant when she came to us. So it blew our mind. It blew up our minds. You know, it's like, wow, 14 and pregnant. And we dived in a little bit, and most of the situations back home, somebody from their family would do prostitution, or somebody will be a pimp in the large family. Let's say, you know. It's something normal for them. And it's so sad because the children will live with, or they will grow up with that idea that it's normal, you know. And she used to tell us that she would just, you know, drink alcohol and do whatever they want. And again, because the parents are not there, you know, just because they have their own issues, they have their own insecurities, they have their own, you know, traumas and problems, and, you know, they would not be mature enough to be there for their children. So just some short ideas. They would face, you know, abuse and being exposed to so many bad things from their early age. And as I said, there's always a pimp there. There's always somebody that does prostitution. There's always somebody that will steal, or, you know, they would have somebody in the family that does physical abuse, you know, like beats them. And maybe that was also a very important part of their past, because they were used, if you make a mistake, the punishment, it's so big, you know, it's like, I will beat you. And they've seen so many situations where the father would beat the mother, and what they told us is like crazy. The father would run after them with a knife or something. And when one of my daughter told me that, I was like, is that the nightmare you had last night? And she was like, no, that's the reality. And I was like, oh wow. So they have to go through a lot. And I didn't know with this particular situation why our daughter would not be able to connect with John. She was always like so distant. And after this situation that she told me, you know, this is what my father did, you know, and it was horrible. And I won't say too much, but this is okay, you know, that when he would get drunk, he would run with a knife after the kids, and they will get out of the house and find places where to hide and so on. And I tried to be there with her in the moment, you know, and pray with her and telling her that she's safe now. he is in prison. The father is in prison right now because he did like really stupid stuff. And I felt that she was like okay with it, and she cried a lot. And after that day, I didn't tell her anything, even though I encouraged the kids to go, and be affectionate with us and with me and my husband. But after this situation, she was like, "Can I go and hug Dad and hug John?" I was like, wow, that was the response and the confirmation that her thing just, she healed there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Wow, good for you. Just being there for her.
Yeah, we are blessed.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Man, you're making and this some of the stories too of children that have come from Cǎminul Felix, and I was talking to Mihai about one of his daughters going to play in Greece, professional football.
She's
soccer, football. Whoever's listening to this, depends on what you call it. But and then the young, beautiful woman that you showed me,
that she wants to be a judge.
Incredible. And so what are some of the other...
Yes, we are blessed, and every situation where a child will succeed, I'm like, yes, I'm here, I would, just go for it, and I'm so proud of them, And I'll have to say this before, even if not everybody would be, there.
Right, yeah.
That's okay. We encourage everybody, and we know that everybody's made for something that they would like, and they should do what they love, And some of them, they're just very good people, just working in a shop, and they do their best, and I'm so proud of them. We have to see also the background that they have, and just being as a worker or being in just like regular jobs is like, wow, just being consistent and being there and being able to provide for themselves. I'm like, wow, great job. And I'm proud of them. But there are some victories, big victories that we have. And I think they're just, I don't know, their genetics. And I don't know, they had everything. And just Cǎminul Felix being there with the opportunities, I think it made a perfect, situation. Or these two together, being combined is like, wow. And Cǎminul Felix gave them a lot of opportunities, definitely, Firstly, by taking them to school, there's the first step, and they can find what they love to do. And if they wanted more, there was always more,
Yeah. So it's so, and I appreciate that it as well of, I mentioned the professional football player, and Sam Gallant wants to be a judge, and but truly anyone that comes from any sort of background where they don't have a family and they have overcome a lot, that is success. That is, inspirational. And those were a couple that stood out of just
we have a lot of cases like this. We will need another podcast to talk about.
Well, let's get it set up here. Yeah, no, that's incredible.
But we have a lot of situations like this. And for me, just having a family and being able to, have a family, have your children, and have a good job, and a well-paid job, it's nice. And there are a lot of situations like this, a lot.
I love that. I love that.
We have also, I know somebody that is a doctor, pediatrician in Cluj, and it just doesn't come to my mind, but we have so many situations where they're awesome. I'm so proud, and we are so proud of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Contributing members of society. And I love that.
They did it because they wanted more, but we were here.
Totally. Yeah, it's the environment that built them, that grew them. Yeah. How could someone that's listening, back home I'm going to turn this angle a little bit there. Okay. How could someone back home get involved, right? So, you guys are online, which is so beautiful.
Yes. You're active.
You're active, right? You're getting your presence out there, which is important. But what's the next steps, or what can someone do to learn more about, what you're doing here, and either come volunteer or just give, or what does that look like for people?
Sure. The first thing I tell people is that everybody can do something. Everybody. Like maybe they're home sitting, in their pajamas, like, Romania, what would I do there? Like, I'm here, it's so far. But everybody can do a thing. And the first thing I'm asking actually is prayers. We are here, we give them everything, but there are wounds that I will never be able to heal. I'm there for them if they have questions, but I don't have the answers. So prayers for them and for their wounds to be healed. I'm like, please, that's the one thing that I'm like asking first. And of course, the financial part is very important, but being involved in somebody's life, again, I say it changes their life, but it changes you as a person. And it's so rewarding knowing that you've known a person and you are with that person, during the years. It's so nice. Before we came at Cǎminul Felix as parents, I sponsored a girl from Cǎminul Felix. And I know how that feels also,
Yeah.
And it's so nice. We were able to take that girl outside in the city and, I don't know, have some shoppings and let her know, asking her what she likes or just to watch a movie and get to know her, So that's what the sponsorship does. You can sponsor a child and sending money each month, just, everybody decide how much, and they will receive a letter from that child. How things are going, how is school. And I always say this, everybody's more than welcome. Just seeing everything that is here, it changes the perspective. But if you can't come, then it's so nice just being able to connect through media.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. As a mother, I would say that I'm so happy for the new connection that my child would make, because I want him to be able to have healthy people around them, Yes, they have us, they have the church, they have the school, they have, people around them, but having even more stable and mature and strong people around them that they will tell them, you can do it, let's go for it, I'll be here, I'll just be here for you, or encourage them. For me as a mother is like, thank you. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Beside the sponsorship, of course, volunteering. It's so nice. We have to repair the houses in Cǎminul Felix. Some of them are, they were made 20 years ago, and we had to repair them and everything. So if there are people that they like construction, or even if they don't, they can learn.
It's fun,
honestly. You have somebody there will say, okay, you can do that or that part. So it's not like you don't have to be a professional.
Love it.
You would enjoy that. Being with friends or, with nice people, it will always be a blast doing whatever, So that's from my point of view. If you ask somebody else,
I love it. Give me a hammer. Put me in, coach. I love it.
Yes, but yes, there are a lot of opportunities. And again, for me, the education is so important. What I would want for my kids is to be able to explore more of the education part. Like maybe if somebody knows how to, sing or just give them lessons, like in maybe school, like learning languages or instruments or all kind of, sport. I don't know. So if somebody wants to come and, do a VBS or teach them something, it's more than welcome. And I'm happy for that.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And man, I could talk to you all night. And I appreciate you coming. It's late at night after the whole day, and I know you have a full weekend ahead. So thank you. So I'm curious. I have a few questions that I ask everyone on the podcast. They're just like kind of bullet point questions. They're fun. But you have traveled, different parts of the world. Yes. And so one of my questions that I love to ask people is, what is your favorite place that you've been to and why?
Wow. You didn't prepare me for that question.
I know. I threw you in, so you're doing great.
Oh, wow. I would say that I traveled in Belgium. I told you I have siblings all over Europe, So I traveled in Belgium, Holland, Germany, Austria, Hungary, a few places. But I also traveled around Romania, and I will tell that my sister, when I was young, like I was 10, my sister, two of my sister, they used to work in a village near Oradea, and the name is Spinuș. And there were some people from Holland that they came and they made an orphanage. And actually it was like they had children in foster care. So then people would be able to adopt them from this center, and the name was Casa Lidia. And for me, as a child, that was the most beautiful memory and place. It was somewhere in the woods. It was only them. The house was built, as they were from Holland. Of course, it was so different than what we as Romanian, we knew. It was such a big house. so many children. I always had fun. My sister used to take me there, you know, for a week or two. And when I had holiday from school, I used to go there and have friends there, you know, and the toys and their idea of, you know, being there for the children and the love and everything that they had. As I told you, I come from a poor family. They it's not that they were not poor, definitely, because they had so many opportunities, you know, and people sponsoring from Holland. But seeing that part as a holistic way, you know, with everything, for me as a child was like, is this heaven? You know, and the memory I go to when, you know, I feel bad, you know, it's like going there because it's everything I love, everything. There are children, disadvantaged children. It's something that I have in my heart, you know, being there for them. As a child, toys, colors, wood. I love hiking, or, you know, then I love nature. They had like big windows, you know, and you could see outside animals and, you know, everything, you know, there would be deers there coming and visiting, and we used to do like walk in the forest, and it's everything from that part. It's awesome for me. Yeah. That's the best place I've been.
Wow, that's so beautiful. You described it so well. I can like see it almost. I want to go.
If somebody would ask me what I want when I will be old, I'll say just a house in the middle of the woods. That's it. And I honestly, I do see myself with the window open, a lot of chickens there and animals and a lot of children running around. You know, just me, my husband, kids, and the woods.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so wholesome. You know, it's just so good.
People will say I'm crazy, but
no, that's your heart. That's incredible. But I'm there too, man. Yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome.
I can picture you there.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll just roll up. Yeah. What's up? That's so good. And I love that it's close to home too. Like that's incredible. It doesn't have to be anywhere crazy in the world. It's what impacted you, the place that you, I think that's beautiful. Now, next question. Do you have a favorite book or podcast and maybe it's not a book or podcast, but you're very into development, right? Sure. So maybe it's a program you've done or something that's impacted you in your own personal development.
Well, there is a book. I've read a lot, but, and I could, you know, I wouldn't have the time to say all the things that I've learned. And they're so, I mean, I love every part of it, you know, of my process. But I was a teenager and I read a book, and the name is The One That Gives Vision. And I remember that it has, we'll just skip about that. I don't know how to say it in English. It's yeah, I know. It has on the cover of the book a feather. And that was special for me. It stayed there with me, you know, and I was like, okay, it's something special. But the idea of the book is that the ones that gives you a vision is God, and he gave me a vision. I was just a teenager and I knew God will call me into something. I didn't know what, but I knew he would do that because I felt it in my heart. But there comes a point where the ones that give you a vision and you go through all the process, and it's a hard process, would ask you, he will give you the vision, you know, and it will be a hard process. You will have the vision. But then there comes a point where he would ask you, okay, you have the vision. I have something bigger than that. Can you give me your vision back? But you fought so much for that vision. You did so many things for your vision. I mean, for everything that you wanted, you know. But are you able to give the vision and to receive the one that gives you the vision, you know?
Wow.
So I know being in this mission, it can also break your heart, you know, but not in a bad way, in a way where you understand that everything is about God. And I love the vision that he gave me, but I want the one that gives the vision, because he has all the visions, you know.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Is that written in English as well?
I think so, yeah.
Or I'm going to learn.
I think it's original in English.
Wow, I've never heard of that book. That I relate a lot with that, especially right now. Yeah, that's really beautiful.
I know it will come a time where, you know, we do so many things for everybody, you know, and we do that because we enjoy it. But then we don't, I mean, that's what I've learned, that I don't have to forget that things around us can change, can disappear, can be gone just in a second. Yeah. We don't know, but if you have him, you have everything. Doesn't matter no matter what is happening, you know, around you, he would always be there, and you would have him.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. My whole body feels at peace. Like, that's just so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Man, I'm like basking in that. What's my other question? Oh, okay. Are dad jokes a thing in Romania? Does that ring a bell? Like what a dad joke is?
A dad?
Yeah.
A dad joke?
Like a goofy joke like a dad would say that you're like, oh, okay, dad. Like that's a dumb joke. Just kind of term dad joke. Is that it might just be an American thing.
I know, sure. Give me a few seconds to think about.
Oh.
I would say something, but I don't know if it's right or not.
Yeah.
There is a joke, but not really. I don't know if it's appropriate or not. You will.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
It's not. I'll say it for the sake of because I want to say it. Maybe you won't put it on the podcast.
No, I love it.
So it says that Balkans, children, they have two traumas. When one is when the dad is around, and one is when the dad is not around. So usually in our situations, also like for what we are talking now, is that if the father is home, he's pretty, impulsive most of the time. And if the other trauma is the father is not home because he's gone. So that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's deep. Yeah. Wow.
I have to search for other jokes. I don't know right now. It's not a joke, I know, but that's what came to my mind. Oh my God.
It takes me back to John, and you guys talk about his dark humor.
Yeah. We do have dark humor.
I love you. That's dark humor. Yeah.
I know.
No, but I would imagine like laughter can lighten things up when they get really heavy, and that's
that's a good thing to mention, that when the children came into our home, and it's normal when you're a victim, it's normal that you will feel the victim, and it's true, it is there. Yeah. But then that's us as people. You go in another environment, you're not the victim anymore, but that's how you still feel.
Right.
And it's normal. So the children coming in our home, they were not a victim anymore, but they had a feeling still. And they start to cry, over a lot of things. And we, in the first period, we were there for them, because we knew it will be a hard period for them where they will have to accommodate. And John, some of them, they didn't know that John grew up in Cǎminul Felix. And they would cry, and be, like, nobody gets me, nobody understands me, it's so hard for me. And then John went to one of our boys and he was like, look, I'm sorry for what happened to you. It's not your fault. Somebody did some bad choices in their life and you ended up in this situation, and I'm sorry. But you said nobody understands you. So let me tell you something. I grew up in Cǎminul Felix. I was abandoned when I was 3, and the mother of that boy was, like into prostitution and so on. He was like, my mom was a prostitute. My mom did all the things that your mother did. And I was in the same situation that you are in. So buckle up, just come up and let's fight and let's do better. It happened to us, but don't let it define you. So let's just go and, okay, there's a period when you need your time. And it's okay, but you can't stay there. And he said, look at me. Would I be having a wife, a family, children? Would I have you if I would have stayed there as a victim? No. So let's go. And I think it's okay to feel and to let your emotions, be there and explore and, understand what's happening to you. But then I understand that life is tough, but let's go farther. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where our dark humor is also coming from. Sometimes it's like, let's joke about it. Yeah. It doesn't define you.
Yeah. It can lose its power.
Yeah.
It sounds like, so I apologize. I didn't laugh right away. But I can appreciate it because of, just even getting a little tiny tip of the iceberg of what it could maybe be like, or at least knowing what it's like here, right? And in a very tiny little way. So, but that's good. That's interesting. I think that'll provide some good background for people. Okay, last question for you. And I know I don't prepare people for this. So whatever comes to your heart, there's no wrong answer here. If you imagine that there is a stage that the whole world is in the audience of, and you have the opportunity to stand on that stage in front of a podium, behind a podium, and share your world-changing speech. If you had one message for the world, what would that message be?
Wow. I would have an illustration, a dream actually that I had. So as a child, I grew up with a lot of fear. And I know fear is all around. But I had a dream one night that I was climbing. I was in the woods and in the forest. and everybody was like very foggy, it was a lot of fog, and I couldn't see, and I knew I had to climb, and I went and went and went, higher and higher, and then there was a slide, but it was so cold, dark, ugly, everything was like, it was like from the horror movie, but I heard a voice. I said, okay, go on the slide. And I was on the top of the slide, and I was like, I don't like to do things that I can't control. It's so hard for me to let it go or to trust, and the fear was there. Like, I looked around, everything was cold, was dark. So I've heard a voice said, I'm with you. And I couldn't see who that is, but I knew that it was a person next to me that went on the slide and said, trust me. And I was like, whoa, should I do that? I couldn't see. I mean, the slide was very dark and cold, but it was a dark thing there. And you couldn't see after that. It was just dark. And maybe that was my biggest fear, the things I can't control, anxiety, fear, everything, from that area. So I've seen that person going on the slide and said, trust me, come with me. And I was like, I'll just do it. And I went just for a second. I was like, okay, I didn't think about it. And I went and I closed my eyes, and I was so scared, like, oh my God, what is going to happen with me? But when I opened my eyes, that's so interesting. I opened my eyes and I was on the top of the slide, a very small slide for children. And around me, everything was colorful. There were a lot of kids around me. There were laughs, kids playing, laughing, colors, a playground. And what I understood from there is your fear, it's not what defines you. Your fear, just go, because everything is that simple. And I've learned that I can do everything through Christ, everything. And everything in this life is so simple. I complicated things around my life, like I can't do that, because these were the words that I heard as a child, and mostly from my father. You're not good enough. You can't do that. You won't be able. How you would provide for yourself? You're stupid, and all this kind of stuff. But there came a period in my life where I understood my father did something wrong, but I would not blame him anymore. And I have the responsibility to take action, for what I feel and what I let come in, So those words would not define me, and this is not my identity. And I made my identity in Christ, and I knew He loves me. I'm His daughter. I can do everything. He is there with me. I'm not He's not ashamed of me. And yes, I can do everything that I want. So just this illustration would be always in my heart when things around me get complicated. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I'm like, no, I can actually. It's that simple. Just go for it. You are able. So for the children, for the adults, because we are all in this, you can do it.
Wow. I am so inspired that I needed to hear a lot of this. So thank you. Thank you. You are such a beautiful world changer. I can't even handle it. Thank you, Aura. You're the best. Thank you. That was so incredible. She's the best, as you know, as you can tell. I appreciate your time so much. Yes, and we'll post where everybody can find you. Or what about you? Directly, people want to reach out to you or to Cǎminul Felix?
I'm not so much on media, and I do like the background part.
Yeah.
So Cǎminul Felix on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on TikTok.
Okay.
Cǎminul Felix, Romania.
Look at TikTok. Yeah. All right, coming in.
It's not me there, but
no. Oh, hey, it's great. Keeping up with the times. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. You're the best.